Hi, this is Steve Rowe, Executive Director. Today is Wednesday, September 22nd. We're actually recording on the same day that this video will be uploaded, different from the past couple of weeks. And if all goes well, you won't have to hear from me again next week. We believe that Kim Bergen-Jackson, our administrator, will be back to work later this week as she recovers, and hopefully she will be able to provide the weekly video update when we do this next week. First thing I want to do, and actually there's several things that I'm going to talk about today. It feels like this might be a slightly longer video than the last couple of weeks, but first thing I want to do is to thank everyone who was involved in nominating me for the Francis Lochner Award from Leading Age Iowa. Leading Age Iowa is our state association, and at our state conference last week, I received the highest honor that our state association gives. And again, it's the Francis Lochner Award. Here it is. I will have this proudly displayed in my office, but a very, very nice award. And it was a total surprise to me. I'm very thankful for my teammates, our residents, and our board members who participated in the nomination process. My experience with this award is that whoever has received it in the past typically would give some kind of acceptance speech. And as I said, this was a total surprise to me. So as I was sitting in the audience, as they were getting ready to present this award, had no expectation that my name might be called. So it was a bit of a shock when it was, and I kind of muddled through an acceptance speech. And one thing that I would like to make amends for is how I introduced my wife. So as I was up there, I had the privilege of having my family be present for this, and I said something about Tony, I said something about my daughter Allison, and when I got to my wife, I said that she must have been in on the surprise because when I left her that morning, she was still snoring soundly. And that is all I said about April. And I am embarrassed about that. We laughed about it afterwards. And I am going to make amends for that right now. So to April, it's like, you are truly my very best friend. We've been married for 34 years and I love you more than ever. So that's what I should have said last week, and I apologize. But we can always make things right. So thanks again. It was a very, very nice surprise and a day that I will remember forever. Now for a COVID update. I want to share good news, and that is as of today, our assisted living residents are no longer living under any restrictions. You are aware that a couple of weeks ago we had an employee test positive, an employee in assisted living test positive, and when that happens, we're in breakout status. And we have to, by regulation, test our residents every few days until we have no positive cases for 14 days. So today is the day that we've survived this most recent positive employee case. Happy to report that we had no residents test positive during this entire time and no additional staff members. So our assisted living residents are finally, as of today, free to go about their lives in the broader Oak Knoll community. And it's like we apologize for having to restrict things over the last couple of weeks. It's always done with the intention of trying to keep people as safe as possible. And if any residents had tested positive and we allowed people to kind of keep mingling business as usual, it's like we could have potentially spread more positive cases through the community. So there's always a reason for it. It's like we apologize for the restrictions, and we're very, very happy to announce that the restrictions have been lifted. I updated our case counts today just before coming here to record. And not great news, but also not terrible news. The case counts continue to trend upward. We're at 58 new cases per day over the last 2-week period. That compares to 48 new cases per day is where we were a week ago. So it's definitely trending in the wrong direction, but it's not anywhere nearly as bad as I was fearing now that we're 3 weeks out from the first Iowa home football game. So that had the potential to be a super spreader type event. It may have been, but we haven't seen huge increases in case counts in Johnson County. It's also not yet trending downward, so we're looking forward to that. Also on a positive front related to COVID cases and positivity rate, the rate of infection as they do tests is constant at 6.9% as of this week. One thing that I found interesting on the state website, it gives a number of people that are hospitalized and the number of people across the state of Iowa that are in intensive care units. And currently there are 638 people who are hospitalized for COVID, and 161 of those are in intensive care beds. Of that group, 80% of the hospitalizations and 84% of the people in intensive care are not vaccinated. So a few weeks ago, President Biden had said we're now in a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and that very much looks to be the case. Hopefully, somehow we will figure out a way to move that needle and get more and more people vaccinated so that they're better protected in case they do get infected and they don't end up in the hospital or in intensive care. That's enough about COVID today. A couple of reminders. We will have clinics coming up for both the flu shot and COVID booster shots. We talked about this last week, and there was a written communication in your mailboxes last week at all. But just a reminder that the flu shot clinic on the main campus is next Thursday, September 30th. And it will be 1 week later at our East Campus. So Thursday, September 30th for the main campus, Thursday, October 7th for our East Campus. That's the flu shot clinic. And then a COVID booster clinic will be held on Friday, October 15th at the main campus, and Friday, October 22nd at our East Campus. So please be aware of those dates. There was information about when you should show up for the various times during that flu shot clinic, and I think it's based on your last name so that we don't get a mad rush of everybody trying to come all at the same time. But please get a flu shot, please get the COVID booster, and hopefully we'll keep everybody safe from those things this winter. Last thing I want to talk about, a little bit of a business update. And last week in the video message, I talked about the supply chain issues that we were having, and I had mentioned email that we had received from Martin Brothers, our food distributor, and that I was going to put this out on the reception desks throughout Oaknall. At least some people I know picked that up and read through it and have replied and shared their interest in seeing the issues that exist within the supply chain right now. I want to talk about staffing challenges today. We have lots and lots of open positions still, and that has been the case for about at least the last 3 months. Those open positions primarily are within dining services, nursing, and environmental services. And just to put it in perspective, to get back to normal level of dining services operations. So fully operating in the Oak dining room, fully operating it at Third on Third, so a reopening of Third on Third, and getting back to where we had been earlier at Scotty's. We are looking to hire 5 full-time cooks and 13 part-time servers. So there's 18 people who we need just to get back to normal operations within dining services. I shared this at our monthly board meeting this morning and talked about our starting wages and the possibility that we might need to adjust our starting wages as part of the solution to this staffing challenge. We also, in our managers meeting this morning, which happened shortly after the board meeting, we brainstormed ideas for how we can solve our staffing challenges and just trying to be creative and come up with ideas for how do we better recruit and retain our employees. So recruit new employees and retain existing employees. We came up with a really healthy list of things that we can try, and we're going into this with the attitude that we have to do things differently, because to not do anything differently but expect a different result is just not going to work. So we're trying to prioritize and come up with what are the main focus areas that we are going to try to do to recruit and retain our employees so that we can get back to more normal service levels for all of you. As I mentioned, starting wage adjustments, it's one of the possibilities that we're looking at, and the challenge there is as we look at increasing starting wages, there is also a need to look at internal equity. We can't have a brand new person working as a certified nursing assistant, as an example, who we hire and we've adjusted the starting wage and they make more than somebody who's been with us for a year or 2 years. So as we adjust starting wages, it actually affects nearly all of our employees in some way because of the internal equity adjustments that we need to make as well. When we do that, there's obviously a pretty significant financial cost. We have historically always done market studies in the spring just before we present a budget package to our board for approval. We did that this past spring, and now 5 or 6 months later, we are in a position where the market for many of our positions has changed very significantly, and we might need to do a mid-fiscal year adjustment to starting wages. That's okay, and we have, all of you know, I think I've shared this with you before, you are the only source of revenue. So as Oak Knoll's expenses go up, we either need to find offsetting savings someplace, or in the long run, we need to charge you more to make up for the extra costs that we're incurring. That becomes a bit of a challenge to do mid-year because our life care contract with you allows us to change rates once per year. We did that effective July 1st based on what we thought the market was at for our positions. And now as we're experiencing these challenges in hiring people and potentially needing to make a mid-year correction to that, the money's got to come from somewhere, and in the short term, it probably means that we will run a deficit position and could need to make up for that with a larger than normal increase next year. We are obviously looking at all of the different possibilities. Wage adjustments are one of the possibilities. We will continue to look for other ways, other creative ways that we can solve our staffing challenges and get back to normal staffing levels and normal service levels for you. Just wanted to give you a heads up that is in the works, and we're trying to figure it out. If you have ideas or suggestions that you think might be helpful, I am always open. So please email me or call me, and I'd be happy to listen to any advice or input that you have. Thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and I hope that you are all having a great week, and we will talk with you again probably in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye.